and he is sharing, saying that Jerusalem is assured that nations will make a pilgrimage to her because of the light of God's presence. They have been down and out for a long time, but Isaiah is there assuring them that they have hope. The bountiful food of the sea and the profits of international trade are going to come streaming to them, and they can, right now, starting today, declare God's praise. And then as we go today, we'll hear why and how this can be important for us and a message for us as well. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord has risen upon you. For darkness shall cover the earth, and thick darkness the peoples. But the Lord will arise upon you, and his glory will appear over you. Nations shall come to your light, and kings to the brightness of your dawn. Lift up your eyes and look around. They all gather together. They come to see you. Your sons shall come from far away, and your daughters shall be carried on their nurses' arms. Then you shall see and be radiant. Your heart shall thrill and rejoice, because the abundance of the sea shall be brought to you. The wealth of the nations shall come to you. A multitude of camels shall cover you. The young camels of Midian and Ephah, all those from Sheba shall come. They shall bring gold and frankincense and shall proclaim the praise of the Lord. The prophet Isaiah, the word of the Lord. So today is Epiphany. Does anybody have an idea or even celebrate, have an idea of what it is or celebrate Epiphany? No. It's kind of one of those seasons of the church year that just sort of get swept under the rug. It is a season, it is hallmarked or celebrated on January 6th, which is also known as Epiphany, but also something else. Anybody have an idea of what it is also known as? We sing about it in a song in the Christmas season. Epiphany, January 6th, is the 12th day of Christmas. Anybody realize you're supposed to celebrate Christmas for the 12 days from the 25th to January 6th, not all that time before as the secular world shoves upon us? That's what Epiphany is. Epiphany is the celebration on January the 6th. And it is a reminder for us that the light has come, that God's glory has arisen upon us in the person, the baby that has been born in Bethlehem, Jesus the Christ. Epiphany is also a day that a reading, when Nick was asking which reading to give, the other reading is from Matthew, Matthew 2. And it's a part of the Christmas story where some important visitors come to the manger. Anybody know who those important visitors are? There are these guys here. There are three of them. They come on camels. Yeah, the wise men, also known as the Magi, right? In Matthew's story, the kings, the Magi, only appear in the Gospel of Matthew. Luke doesn't touch them. Did you know that? Probably not, right? Because we take that story and we smush it all together, the birth of Christ, and we all have this imagined picture that the Magi showed up at the manger and presented their gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh right there in the hay, and pushed the cows out of the way and left their camels outside, right? That's maybe the going story. And we can learn from this of why Matthew, the Gospel of Matthew, might have pointed to the kings and the wise men and why he found them important. And it comes in, really, if you read the Gospel here, it's in those first 10 words there. In the time of King Herod, after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, wise men from the east came to Jerusalem. Now, they were asking about the baby, but those first 10 words are extremely important. And the reason they are important is because it says at the time of Herod. It sets a time and a place where the baby was born. It doesn't bring about any of that other stuff that we love about the Christmas story, but it sets it in context. And what do we know about King Herod? Can you think of anything you might know about him?
Maybe the one that wanted to kill. Maybe he was the one that gave the order to kill the law.
Yeah, he kills all of the male babies up to 2 years old, because the wise men, they didn't come to the manger. The estimate is that they probably came 2 years after Jesus was actually born, and they probably came to Egypt, where the family was hiding out because King Herod had given the order to kill all of the male babies under a certain age, under 2 years of age. So it's political intrigue, and it's this darkness of the world that Matthew is highlighting in his gospel text and in those first 10 words, and why he includes these foreigners, these kings from somewhere else into the story. He sets it in this political intrigue for the purpose of reminding us and reminding all people of time and place a couple of things that God does is that God is in the midst of the world, in the midst of our darkness, in the people that are refugees, in those who are poor and don't have enough food, of those who are downtrodden or brokenhearted or rolled over by life in general, or the machinations of kings and politicos and all of those things. God is amongst and over and with and for all people of all time and place, even though it seems that the world's darkness envelops and takes over and wants to consume us. God still comes to us and says, "Arise, for your light has come. Shine, the glory of the Lord has shone upon you." Of course, linking it to the prophet Isaiah and those words that we heard from our text this morning. God still comes into our darkness, not to take that darkness away, but to point us again and again and again and again to the light. God reminds us that Jesus Christ came into the world to be a light for all nations, for all people, hence the kings that came from faraway places. God reminds us that God is for the world. God created the world, gave his only begotten Son for the world. So now we can see the manger linked to the cross, linked to the world, linked to all of us. Arise, shine, for your light has come. The glory of the Lord still shines upon you. You are not alone. God doesn't say, "I will take your darkness away." God says, "I will be with you in the dark." And so we are called, whether it is in our individual lives, or whether it is us as a community of faith, or even us as a community and a nation, God shines upon us. And it is our responsibility as the people of faith, the people who have been baptized, to revel in the light. And then as it says in the promises and in our baptismal ceremony, our celebration, let your light so shine before others, that others may see it and know your Father's good works. We are called to let the light shine in us and through us in all we say and do. We are called in this season of Epiphany to continue to be the light in the dark world in which we live and in which we have our being. We're called to be light with all we are and with all that we have. Are you ready in this season of Epiphany to be light with me? To, like the Magi, to come from what may seem outside sometimes and share and shine that light. Amen. Before I go, I meant to see if anyone knows what the little code here is.
And I've been looking at it.
You've been looking at it. Good. I'm glad you've been looking at it. I wanted it to claim attention. This is part of my kids' message in the first service. This is an Epiphany tradition in some places. It is a special blessing. If you know, the year is here with 3 letters. The letters are Casper, Melchior, and Balthazar, the 3 kings. Right? Nobody would ever figure that out. Sometimes the C is replaced by a G because sometimes Casper is called Gaspar. So, and priests will pastors will chalk this kind of code every Epiphany as a special blessing. So I invite you to, whether it be in your memory or if you want to take a slip of paper, I have more with me, to remind yourself in 2019 that the light has shone upon you, you are the light, and we're called to be a blessing to the world. Amen.